This video is going to be a basic introduction to Excel. So what you see here is a basic Excel spreadsheet. So notice you can have different sheets here in your workbook. I guess so here's a spreadsheet, sheet 1 in a workbook, and so you can have different sheets in here, and you can name these too. So like if I double click on this, I could say it's like demo 1. I can name them as I like. Now, in what we're going to be doing in Excel is be using a lot of built-in formulas. So let me show you some of these formulas. So notice we have formulas for math trig, and then we have the more functions here where there's statistical. So the formulas that we'll be seeing in math trig, notice how they're in alphabetical order. This one here is the combination. You might recall that from finite math when we studied counting. It's a combination, so let's say if I had 10 items and I wanted to know in how many ways could I choose 3 of them, this would be 10 choose 3, right? So that's the combination, 10 choose 3. So we have combin in here. Let's see, we also have, here's exp for exponential, returns e raised to a power. Here's fact for factorial, right? Greatest common denominator or divisor, least common multiple. Natural logarithm, logarithm to any base you specify, log base 10. If you remember when we did matrices and we had to do inverses, this would give you a matrix inverse or M inverse. M mult is for matrix multiplication. Here's pi. The value of pi is in here. Power, this is interesting. This returns the result of a number raised to a power. So for example, if you wanted to do, like, there's a homework problem where you actually have to raise 1/3 to the 7th power, you could use this power command to do that, right? So that's pretty nice. 1/3 to the 7th power. Let's see. Let's look at that again. Power. So let's, like, if I have 2 raised to the 10th power, right? That's 1024. Right, so there's a power command. What else do we have in here? Product. This will find the product of a bunch of numbers that you specify. So you could use the product. So let's say that you wanted to multiply. Let's cancel this. So suppose you wanted to multiply, you know, like 1/3 times. Oh, I gotta format that. So notice we go over here. I want to change this to a fraction, and that doesn't look like 1/3. There we go, it's my fraction 1/3. I want to make sure that this is a fraction also, and let's say we'll call that 2/3. We know 1/3 times 2/3 will be 2/9, so I should be able to use formulas, math trig. We can go to product. Goes product, and I just want to multiply these two things together, and let's change that. Let's see if we can change that also to fraction, and there it is. There's that 2/9. So there's the product command in there. Let's see what other formulas we have in math trig that might be of use. So product, quotient, round, square root is important. Finds the square root of a number. So, for example, let's say that I wanted to know what is the square root of 2. So you just do square root, type in the 2 there, and there it is, 1.414. But if I click OK, it goes in here. So we have a square root command. That's an important one. We'll be using square root. We have sum. If you want to add up a bunch of numbers, you have sum. Sum product if you want to add a sum of products, and we will be talking about that when we do mean and standard deviation. Alright, so those are kind of the important ones there. Then if we look at statistical functions, you'll see we have the average, we have binom dist we will be using. So what other thing will we use in here? Well, we could use correlation, but there's another command we'll use for that. Hypergeomdist, hypergeometric distribution, we'll be using that in the course. Look at maximum value in a data set, the median or middle value of a data set, the minimum value in the data set, the mode, the number repeated the most if there's more than one multi-mode, so it'll find more than one. This would revert if there's only one single mode. Norm dist, we will be using that in this course, as well as norm inv for norm inverse. Percentiles, we will be talking about percentiles. There's permutation. For some reason they have the permutation here and the combination in the math trig. I'm not sure the point of that. It's a probability there. I don't know how that one works though. Quartiles, we'll talk about quartiles. Standard deviation for a population, standard deviation for a sample will be these will be useful. T-distribution, we will use that. T-distribution is basically left-tailed, two-tailed, right-tailed, T-inverse. This is different when if you're working with Excel 2007. You only have the T-dist and it's a little different. You would type in, they'd have an extra place for you to type in whether it was left-tailed, right-tailed, two-tailed, that kind of thing. Whereas here they broke it up into different ones in 2010. There's a T-inverse, we'll be using that in the course. T-inverse 2T we will use as well. Variance for proportion, variance for sample, that's another one we can use. Alright, so those are different things we might be using, we will see in the statistical functions. Now, what's important too is since we're going to be working with data, we're going to want to have a data analysis tool pack in here. So data analysis tool pack has several tools in here that we'll be using in the course. We will be using ANOVA single factor. We'll look at correlation. We'll use descriptive statistics a lot. That'll be very important. We'll look at the histogram tool. And those are the main ones, and then maybe at the end of the course we will discuss some of these t-tests and z-tests. Now, you need to download the data analysis tool as an add-in. So if you don't have the data analysis tool here, notice when you hit data at the right and analysis, you should have a data analysis tool. If that's not there, then you're going to have to add it in, and you do that by going to File, down here to Options. Here, go to Add-ins, and then down here at the bottom, Excel Add-ins, click Go, and then notice here this box with the add-ins will come in. So here on these add-ins, you're going to want the analysis tool pack, and so you would click OK, and then it will download that for you. Okay, so hopefully that'll get you a basic start. Oh, one other thing is if you want to have Excel do computations for you, you need to hit the equals first. So like let's say I wanted equals, let's say it's like 4 times 7. To get the 28, I had to hit this equals to do the computation. So that's important. So I hope that little brief introduction you found useful.